Mr. Goel, we're going to be coming to you first. Remember, Mr. Goel is a former ambassador. What I wanted to ask you is, the United States has come out to say that they had warned Russia of a planned attack. What typically happens if one nation warns another nation of a planned attack? What is the protocol? What does the warned nation do in response to that information?
Aisha, there is no fixed protocol in that sense that if a nation has informed or given some information to the other nation, this is what happens. These are all basically well-established procedures and the way the nations behave, depending upon the kind of faith and the trust that exists between the two. There is a lot of misinformation. And therefore, whenever such information come to any agency, from whichever source, there is an evaluation of its credibility and then the action taken on the basis of the assessment on the credibility of that information. Now, I heard maybe I'm quite wrong, but Russia denied receiving such information from the USA. Maybe later they accepted it. But the point is that whenever such information comes, it's taken very, very seriously by agencies, and they do act upon the information in terms of assessing and evaluating it. One thing that you should keep in mind is that even if the information comes, timing, how, where, and what kind of the weapons they're going to use, ammunition, there is so much unknown that on the basis of that information, to plan a counter action is often very, very difficult, really. Therefore, rather than in this particular case saying that Russia should have done this, USA should have done that, I think we should take it as a face value as it is, that it is a terrorist attack, and there should be a proper procedure on ground internationally, agreement on how to deal with these acts of international terrorism. Aisha.
Absolutely. A very interesting point that you raised there, that there should be a proper procedure to deal with matters like this. Major General Dwivedi, I need to come to you now. You are a foreign affairs expert. What I wanted to ask you is more in context of what's been happening in Russia, not just right now, but also in the past. After Wagner chief Prigozhin's attack in Russia, now this terror attack has taken place in the capital itself, in Moscow. What kind of security challenges do you think Russia is facing? And do you think that these events would have taken place had Russia not currently been engaged in a war?
Well, Aisha, first and foremost, I think this act is a very dastardly act, and it must be condemned and denounced in strongest possible language.
Absolutely.
And our sympathies, condolences go to the aggrieved families. Having operated in almost all type of insurgencies in India, I can give you, and of course, as a global perspective, I can give you a couple of very subtle indications. First and foremost, terrorist acts are undertaken to have a deep impact on the psyche of the nation or on the psyche of the dispensation or the government. So therefore, this act is directly, I think, to shake up the dispensation in Russia and possibly directly against the head of the state, that is President Putin. But then there are always reasons why these attacks are taken. First and foremost, we need to understand as to what is ISIS-K, because it is the Khorasan, that is the Afghan branch of ISIS, which came into being in 2014. And it is known to be a very, very, I would say, cruel organization. And it has been anti-Putin for the last about 2 to 3 years, because President Putin has directly gone into Syria, and the operations which are supporting Bashir Assad government are against the ISIS. So therefore, ISIS is hurt. Secondly, ISIS also identifies itself with the Central Asian Republic groups, which also feel aggrieved because they feel that President Putin and his government is suppressing the Islamic organization, the Islamic religion. So therefore, they have a grouse. And it is not the first time ISIS has undertaken such attacks. Even in 2 years back, they had undertaken a similar attack in Russia. So therefore, the point I'm trying to make is it's a terrorist act. It is directed against the Russian government, and especially again Mr. Putin, to give a very strong message that their anti-Islamic activities, their activities to harm the interest of ISIS must cease forthwith. That's, I think, the message that has been given to the government and to the Russian dispensation. Aisha.